compel the state to increase revenue sharing. That's something out of our control. We cannot control the real estate market. I can't fill vacant houses, and I can't control the fact that the property values are going down. So I can't collect any more in property tax. I don't have the right or the authority to change the income tax to make people who don't live here pay what people do live here because they do use our services. I can't do that. So the only thing that I really have left to do is to change the millage rate to try to collect more on the property tax. Now that being said, we looked at a whole bunch of different scenarios. I spent my entire weekend, one weekend, on the phone with Maria Irish. We basically proved that we're old and we have no social life. Because we were texting each other at 12:30 in the morning, back and forth. What's the rate for this? What's the rate for that? What is the CPI actually going to be this year? Do we have an actual projected depreciation rate? I mean, boring stuff, but we did it. And so we've come up with a formula that we've been using. We looked at the rates of depreciation. She's going to be on film yawning. This is so boring. We came up with these rates of depreciation. We analyzed the property taxes, and we looked at how this would affect people. And we came up with a potential rate that we could throw out there to the voters that for the majority of property owners would still end up in savings. There will be a percentage of folks, residential and commercial and industrial, that this will mean that they pay more. It will only mean that they pay more for this year because depreciation is supposed to go back down again next year, so they'll be savings again next year. But that's, you know, and that's why we want to let you vote. I mean, there are some people that this is going to impact. More people are not going to see the impact, but it's up to you guys to choose. So I'll give you some basic formula stuff. Now you guys might know this. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to try to clarify. But in the property tax world, back in 1994, state passed Proposal A, which capped your taxable value to the rate of inflation, which was Consumer Price Index. So in 1994, you only had one term on your tax bill, which was your assessed value. And that's what you were taxed on, and it was half of your market value. In 1994, what they did was they created a second imaginary number called your taxable value. So if your property values went up, if everyone in your neighborhood was having a boom year, or if the mortgage market, you know, remember those mortgage companies that they'd have the ads on in the pool, and you could pull all the money out of your house? Well, what happened is you'd have a home that's worth $100,000. They'd say, we're going to give you an appraisal for $120 and let you pull out your equity so that you have all this money to do things with. Well, it inflates your home value, so now your market value looks like it's $120, and everybody's home values rise. Those are really inflated. So as that's going up, your assessed value goes up. But the way Prop A works is cost of living is the only thing the taxable could go up, which is why some of you are in the position, if you've been in your houses for a very long time, where you get angry because you say, my house value, my assessed value is going down, but my taxes are still going up, because these two haven't equalized yet. There is a way to look at that which doesn't make anybody happy, which is while your home value is up here, you weren't paying the taxes that you could have if Prop A wasn't there. Nobody wants to hear that. That's not a consolation to anybody. So eventually, when these meet, everything comes down together. In the city right now, 66% of residential, 77% of commercial, and 85% of industrial properties are at the place where taxable and assessed values meet, which means everything's coming down. And it is for those properties that they will see a net decrease in their taxes even if we raise the millage.
Do those percentages again.
66% of residential, 77% of commercial, and 85% of industrial.